Okay, we're going to go over the trig functions real quick just because after yesterday, a lot of you guys didn't look like you remembered them. So first thing is just a couple of definitions. Opposite. You don't have to write any of these down. I just want you to see it and then get the equation. Adjacent and and hypotenuse, right? So when we're looking at a triangle and we get a triangle, right? A right triangle, so it has to have the 90-degree little symbol there. And when we get that right triangle, we're looking at all these parts, and we're just going to label this as O, this as A, and this as H. Okay? Well, right now I don't know what any part is because I don't know which angle. But once I pick an angle, right? If we say this angle right here, whatever that number is. When I look at this angle, opposite means across. Adjacent means next. And the hypotenuse, that's the longest or the one that the 90 points to, right? So we used to do this, right? Like you'd put a little arrow right there on the 90 and that points to the hypotenuse. That's the hypotenuse. The one that is opposite means across from the angle. So this is opposite. And the adjacent is here, right? It's next to the angle. It's part of the angle. Okay, so those are the three things we need to label. If we have another triangle, let's say the triangle looks exactly the same, but they give us this angle over here, right? Well, the arrow still points to the hypotenuse. Oh, what's going on with my letters? And then the one next to it is now this one. It's part of the angle. That's the adjacent. And now this is opposite. So wherever the angle is, that tells you where to get the different parts, right? And we're going to use that. We're going to use these parts, but we got to remember the SOHCAHTOA, right? This just gave me the equations. And we're going to have to do some work, but when I do the work, then you'll be able to use any equation I have, and you don't have to like do any work. You just have to pick the equation, right? So this means sine equals opposite over hypotenuse, cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent equals opposite over adjacent, okay? So we need to solve all of these, right? Because right now, these are the trig functions over here. And what we're looking for is either the opposite, the hypotenuse, the adjacent, or the, well, that's all three of them, but there's going to be two equations for each, right? So each one of these equations will find a different side. I'm going to pause it and do a different video to show you those sides.